Welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a pom-pom shark. Now I do want to leave a disclaimer. If this is your first time making a pom-pom, I don't necessarily recommend that this be your first pom-pom. Because what I do is I really push the limits on how much yarn I can stuff into this pom-pom maker. So I do recommend that you make a few pom-poms just regular using this maker just to get a hang of it and see how it works before you jump into this. So we can just jump right into it. So here I have 6 different colors of yarn. This is the outer skin of the shark. This is the underbelly of the shark. This is the inside of the mouth of the shark, the teeth of the shark, and the gum of the shark. And here is a black yarn that will be used for the eyeball. At the end, I like to just sew in the eyeball using a long needle, upholstery needle, a Clover Pom Pom Maker, large scissors for trimming, and small scissors to cut off of the pom pom maker. All right, so once you have those materials, you can just jump right in. So to open up the pom pom maker, you open up your one side, and again, I recommend you find another tutorial to learn how to use this maker and all that's involved. So we're going to start with the inside of the shark mouth. So you're going to start with the red. And I'm going to wrap it using, there's marks on, you probably can't see them, but there's marks on the inside of the maker, a 1/4 mark and a, let's see, oh yeah, there's 2 1/4 marks. So I'm going to try to keep the inside of the mouth within that 1/4 mark section. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it till it's about this full, and you just kind of eyeball it. You know, your first shark may not be proportionate, so you might need to do it again because you see you didn't have enough inside of the mouth or enough teeth. So I just dip it about this much. And then on top, the next layer we're going to do are the teeth. So the teeth goes on top of the mouth. So then I wrapped about this much white. Now I'm going to take the gums. So the gums go around the teeth, right? So I'm going to wrap, the next layer will be the gums. And again, the same concept. For this one, I'm going to actually, so for the teeth, I just put it on top of the red. For the gums, I'm going to put it on both sides of the red and the teeth because I want that to go all the way around the mouth. You'll see what I'm talking about when I cut it. So even here, even as many sharks I've made, I still just kind of eyeballed it. So hopefully everything is proportionate. Now we're gonna, on top of the gums, the whole mouth is now wrapped. We have the mouth, inside of the mouth, the teeth, and the gums. And so now we're gonna form the underbelly of the shark by using this light gray. So this is the part where it gets a little tricky. You see how my pom pom maker is almost already full? Well, I'm gonna push its limits here, and I'm gonna start wrapping this gray, and I'm gonna wrap it as much, all of this yarn. Even if it starts to overflow, I'm just gonna hold it together with my hands just to make sure that I get all of this yarn in there because I need it to make the shark. So I'm going to tuck this gray, and then I'm going to squeeze these down just to kind of fill in those sides. All right. Then lastly, this step isn't necessary. I like to do it just to make sure I have enough gray. But I like to just put a little bit. This is going to be the outer skin of the shark, and on this side of the pom-pom is where we're going to fill in this outer skin. But I like to bring some of the gray over here just to make sure that it's coming over the top of the shark so you really can see those colors fully. So here I'm going to wrap. So I'm going to try to push all the yarn off of the feet of the Pom Pom Maker as best as I can. And the feet are this part right here. As best as I can, just stuff it inside of there. Then I'm going to close it as much as I can. It's not going to close, honestly. It's not. But I can do it as much as I can. And then just kind of let it stay as it is. So now it's time to do the other side. As you can see, typically when you're making a pom-pom, both sides will close. But I really overstuffed it, and that's exactly what I needed to do. So now I'm going to do the outer skin of the pom-pom. This is going to be the back side of the shark. Or the top, however you're looking at it. So I just cut that off, and I'm going to use this to tie the shark off at the end. So this one I can actually close because it's more manageable. This one, there's no hope. So I'm actually going to, now it's time to cut the yarn, and then we'll tie it off. We cut first, then we tie. So I'm actually going to cut this side first because it's smaller and a bit more manageable. So what I like to do is I like to hold, while I'm cutting, I like to hold, since it won't close, I like to hold it as close as it can, and I just hold it in the back while I cut from the front, from the other side, like this. If it starts to do that, just rest it on the table, bring your thumb across like this, and hold it down. And we're just going to cut across. And you just want to make sure all of the yarn is cut. Alright, snap that close. Now it's time to cut the other side. So again, I'm just going to hold it just like this, and then begin cutting. My scissors have gotten a bit dull, so just make sure you have some sharp scissors because it makes it a lot easier when it cuts the strands on the first snap. snip. Again, make sure all the yarn is cut. Okay, now it's time to tie the pom-pom. So as you can see, my strands are kind of getting out of the way. So just make sure the strands are straight across if they're coming out from the side of the Pom Pom Maker. I'm going to put the yarn through the slit that I just cut through on both sides, and I'm going to pull it as tight as I can pull it. Pulling it down, pushing the Pom Pom Maker down, pulling those strands up. Now I'm going to do a tie on this side. As tight as I can pull it, I'm going to bring it around and do the same on this side. Tie it as tight as I can pull it, and then I'm going to do one more, bring it around, making sure my strands are where they need to be. I'm going to pull it down as tight as I can pull it, and then I'm going to double knot it here. Make sure it's tight. Double knot it. Make sure you double knot, otherwise it'll come undone. Maybe even triple knot. I'm actually probably just going to go ahead and go around one more time just to make sure, because I put so many strands in here. Pull it out this way towards the gray and just go ahead and snip it a little bit. Alright, now we can take it off because it's tied off, so now we can take it off of this Pom Pom Maker. So what we're going to do is open up the sides. Bam. Open up the sides. Bam. Take off each piece individually. And there we go. We have an untrimmed shark. Alright, so now we're going to trim the pom-pom. So how we trim it is basically we want the shark to sit, let's say my hand is the table, we want it to sit like this, and for the mouth to be touching to the bottom of the table, and for the head of the shark, the point of the shark, to be at the very top. So I'm going to turn my shark flat onto the table like this, and we can already kind of see the shape taking form, which is the great thing about this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to just start shaping. I'm going to shape the shark up and over to make it kind of have a curve right here. So I'm just going to start cutting like so there's a point at the top. gonna flatten this up a little bit. Trim it down some more just to flatten it up. Would you look at that? All right, Shark Boy. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to put the eye on the shark. I could have wrapped this, but every time I've done it, I found it's been a little bit tricky just because I'm wrapping so much yarn. So I like to do this part last, or towards the end. So I take a long upholstery needle, thread it through with the black yarn. I want the eyeball to live in between the dark gray and the light gray on both sides. So I take my needle and I just push it through. Cut the yarn to shorten it up. I like to pull apart the thread so the eye is a little bit bigger and more noticeable. There you go. So now it's a little bit, it might be hard to see, but there are eyes. They are there on the side of the shark's head. And voila. Just kind of trim it down a little bit. Fix the yarns that came loose when I threaded this. See how the shark looks. Little few longer strands. I like to like fluff it like this so I can see what strands are too long. And I can go in and flatten it. Now it's time to work on the details. So as you can see, clearly this is teeth, but they don't have any points. You know, sharks have sharp teeth. So what we're gonna do is take a felting needle, if you can see it. This is a felting needle, and we're just gonna go in and make points with the teeth, bringing them down, bringing the inside of the mouth down, bringing the white part of the teeth down, just like this. And voila, we have a shark pom pom. Thanks so much guys for watching. I know this was a little bit tricky, so I hope that this tutorial was enough for you to learn how to do it yourself. It takes some trial and error, and just stick with it. I know you can make it happen. Oh, I see another one. I know you can make it happen. Tag me in your sharks if you make them, and actual footage of me, and I can't wait to see your shark creations. Bye.